gunpowder treason should ever be forgotten.
Penny for the guy. I'm Clyde Lewis. Tonight we have a very special show planned for you. It is the 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November. The gunpowder treason and plot. There is no reason why this treason should ever be forgot. Very famous quote from a very well-known film called V for Vendetta. Tonight we have a great opportunity because from London, England, we have brought tonight our very own V for Vendetta. Now many people are not aware that on the internet there is someone who dresses as V, who has interviewed several people, been on television shows everywhere, and has also interviewed me, and now it's my turn to turn the tables. Will you welcome to the Ground Zero Lounge, Miss V, right here. Gotta make sure that it's loud enough for you on the microphone, so we'll just put the mic right up to the mask. Okay, you may want to turn it up just a little because she's in a mask, and so she has to speak up really loud. You still haven't seen the film? Somebody said they still haven't seen the film. Anyway, Miss V comes to us from England tonight. We're very happy to have her here. She has, as you can see, she's been everywhere. They put roses on her, and she's got all kinds of roses that represent certain things. Could you kind of give us a little bit of an idea of why you do this, why you dress up like this?
Well, when I saw the film, it went straight, it touched me. I could get the message in it. And the message to me was one single person fighting against depression. And to me it said that if everybody who's fighting oppression anywhere, rainforest, middle of the desert, people who are fighting to get their water back, anywhere, any sort of tyranny would don the cape, the mask, the hat. It makes us all brothers in the same fight, because that's what we're fighting here, we're fighting in England, it's worldwide. And I guess it's just a way of joining people together. The roses, I didn't like the idea of the knives. I don't know if you know, but when V got rid of one of his opponents, he left a rose by the side of them. And this is symbolic of my opponents. We've got New World Order, we've got tyranny, corporate power, we've got the EU, the SPP, you name it.
All kinds of people.
I'll be sitting on the Zoom.
Exactly. Now tonight, this is going to be an interactive show, so just to let you know that we're going to have a discussion tonight about a few things, and bringing V up here is just as a representation of some of the things that we need to get down to business with. One of the other purposes about bringing Ms. V on the program tonight was that I want to demonstrate some things for you that I don't think you're really aware of with regard to the United States, England, Europe as a whole, and how this is all going to come together soon. And that I had made a prediction, and I'm making a prediction now from this stage, that in 2008, we're going to start seeing some changes going on. These changes are going to be with regard to not just our government, but other governments as well. We're looking at a time where the shift of power is going to probably, and they were just talking about this on the Daily Show, we're looking at a shift of power that's going to go matriarchal in the United States. So as the scale tips towards the matriarchal in the United States, what we may see in England is a tip towards the patriarchal. We have a king, a prince or a king or whatever waiting in the wings right now. And even though many of you don't know how the power works, Ms. V, we were talking earlier, you and I, about the importance of the monarchy and how here in America we downplay it. Is the monarchy popular and powerful in England right now?
It's not powerful, but it's very, very popular, particularly the Queen herself. I'm not so sure about the others. The Queen is actually a constitutional monarch. When she took the oath at a coronation, a very solemn oath, it was to uphold the Constitution, our Constitution, for us, and to look after it for us. It's not her Constitution, it's one of the people, so she's there to look after her people. Way back, I think it was in the time of Charles, I have to look up the dates, but we had the Bill of Rights that was signed, and that kind of divided power in the country between the Queen and government. And the government is supposed to be Her Majesty's government. She's supposed to be top of the pile, but in actual fact she is not, that we know of. I mean, to be truthful, there's a big question mark over her right now because of certain issues in England.
No, we're talking about we're talking about the EU?
That's right, yeah, with the Constitution. With Brown, Prime Minister, he has signed away our country, more or less, lock, stock and barrel to the EU.
So is the Queen for the EU or no?
Apparently not. I know the inside word from various people, and no, she's not. She hates it. But she says that she can't do anything about it. And what was that quote after Princess Diana that she told you?
She said something that darker powers are now running Europe and England.
That's right.
The Queen had made the comment of that. And so you need to understand that as we were talking earlier, when Ground Zero first started in the beginning of this year, we were proposing a number of things that were going to be changing, and we were seeing some things happening in the media with regard to Princess Diana. It was the 10-year anniversary of her death. Also seeing films like The Queen, and now Elizabeth has come back again. We're seeing more movies about the Queen and the monarchy. What it is this is our last love affair with the matriarchal monarch. This is our and they're priming us for that very thing here in the United States. So when the shift of power happens, if the Queen just happens to either step down or she's taken out because she does not support the EU, someone will have to take that position. It will be either Charles or William. And Charles, of course, being the person that he is, he would probably work with the idea of the EU, would he not? Because it's good business.
It's good business, yeah. You see, this is very strange about the monarchy. Nobody really understands it themselves in a lot of ways, but Prince Charles, in a lot of things, he speaks for the common man. He's been writing letters to Parliament for years and years, very unpopular with them, sticking up for the people. But it's on things like environmentalism, that kind of thing. And I don't know if anybody here knows about sustainable development. That morphs into global warming. It's one of the ways they're manipulating the people into suppression. But he's well into that. I mean, he's an ambassador for it. He's also an ambassador for us into Saudi Arabia, and we just had a visit from Saudi Arabia. I don't know his name.
Now, I was wondering if you bring my mic down just a bit and bring hers up higher. Because I can be heard, no problem. I want her to be heard. Because what she has to say is very valuable, Stevie. So if you could bring my mic down and hers up a little higher, that would...
I can't get her any louder whatsoever.
You can't?
Make it feedback to the mask.
Well, that's what I mean. Bring mine down.
Yours is about half line further in.
Okay. I just sound louder in the monitor, I guess.
I'll shout.
Yeah, that sounds better. What's that?
I can't do anything to get her any louder. I brought you down.
Okay. Let's see if we can bring it right.
The mask and let
Let me shout.
Yeah, we just gonna have to shout.
I'll just shout.
Okay.
Okay.
So, okay, now we're getting feedback. So we need to understand how things are going to shift. And the reason why I'm bringing this up tonight is because I had stumbled upon an article, and it actually hit home what I've been saying all along, and people are beginning to pay attention to this. And I know that a lot of the times I get jeers from this stage when I start talking about this, but now it's beginning to take hold. There was an article that was online, it was written, and it basically says the same things I've been saying ever since I've been on Ground Zero, and I've talked about politics and the political shifts and everything else. The article was entitled, "When the Lesser of Two Evils is Just Evil." And it brings up a very, very interesting point. Because we get to a certain point when government is just completely corrupt. And there is no escape from it. Because they've made plans already to oust certain people who are not going to comply. And he points out a number of things. First of all, everybody's talking about Hillary Clinton being president of the United States. Everybody's talking about how the Democrats are going to be voted in now because people are sick and tired of the Bushes and what they've done. But truth be known is we're already being set up for Iran, Pakistan, all these other countries, and they're saying, well, they have weapons of mass destruction. Now, why is it that they're basically doing the same thing the other guys are doing? Because it's good business. And you are falling for it if you decide that you're going to go out and you're going to vote these sons of bitches in office. I can tell you that now. You should not be mesmerized or be taken in by any of the bullshit that these people are talking about because it's already planned. The shift of power is being planned where the male counterpart will be in Britannia, the female will be in the United States, and the middle fulcrum, remember I was talking about this middle fulcrum, will be a religious figure or a religious group of people that will enforce the new conservative order. And I can promise you that from what I've been talking about from Saturn on down, the Saturnalian Brotherhood known as the Jesuits are going to double their armies with the papacy. And it will be a new papacy. This could all happen between 2008 and 2009, and I would bank on it. I would bank that between 2008 and 2009, these things are going to transpire. And you know what? If you guys all believe in your Mayan calendar stuff, your 2012 or whatever it is, you better bet your ass that they're going to make plans and they're going to start moving soon. Otherwise, it's not going to look good for money, it's not going to look good for the apocalypse, it's not going to look good for business. They're going to make these plans and they're going to carry them out. And England is going to be right in the middle of it all, right?
That's correct, yeah.
What are some of the things that are going on now that have you concerned?
Well, apart from just about everything.
Go ahead and shout.
we have a prime minister that wasn't elected for a start. He was just appointed in.
Sort of like ours.
That's right. And we've got a fifth column working in our country. It's called Common Purpose. It's an organisation that's come from the Frankfurt School, and that's literally it was a university in Germany that was brought up by the communists. And from there, this organisation grew. On their website, they actually admit that they're finding leaders for the new post-democratic era.
So they're finding leaders to put in for the post-democratic era.
Yes, and
So they're already establishing it, right?
That's right. They chiseled their way into councils, government departments, the health service, police service, into the military. Little town Plymouth. You know Plymouth, it's where the founding fathers came from. That's been just taken over by them completely. And it's a situation where they get into an organisation and then nothing works anymore. Money goes missing, things go wrong. People that want something to work get elbowed out.
Elections get fixed.
It's like a cult. Exactly, it's like a cult. This is what we've got working on the inside. But we're just finding out about now. It's just on the internet now. Guy called Brian Gerrish on Google.
Exactly.
Look him up and find out.
Go ahead.
I just want to add something here.
By the way.
Where the patriarch would be established in England, it seems like that's where the base of power would be from too. Because from a business standpoint, England is on the date line, the rose line. You know, time begins and ends there.
Right.
You know, that's as where you'd want to have power.
They're trying to change that. The European Union doesn't like that at all, no.
They probably want to go back to the French line.
Well, you see, the message we're getting from the European Union, they're actually getting rid of England. We don't exist on the map anymore in Brussels. It's gone. We're divided up into 9 regions. Scotland is a region, Wales, Northern Ireland, all regions. We've got 9 regions, one of which is London. Each region, up to very recently, had an assembly. It was answerable to them from Brussels, funding to them from Brussels. Eventually the idea is to wipe out Parliament altogether because they've already lost 80% of our power anyway to European law. All our laws and diktats are coming from there. And then a further sweep of the borders. Remember, they're doing this to you too. This is coming here, like Common Purpose is here already. They're further denationalising us by taking the borders across the ocean. So the south of England is in one region with the north of France. Actually, the south of England is going to be run by somebody in Paris. It already is on paper in Brussels.
So Tony Blair up and moved to Israel,
Right.
and he is now the envoy to Jerusalem, and he's living right there by the Dome of the Rock. How do Muslims play in all this, and how does Israel play in all this? You have any idea how that's going to work out? I mean, I know that the Queen, of course, is the Queen of Israel, and she's the protector of the Constitution, the protector of Israel. So do you think there's going to be a takeover in the Middle East from all the powers? Are they trying to make them, members of the Union?
They're absolutely determined to get Turkey into the Union.
So
when Turkey comes in, that's a Muslim flow coming from there. But remember, our country's already had it from Pakistan because they were Commonwealth countries. So we've already had a flow of very, very large Muslim population. Prince Charles is very enamoured with the Muslims. And as I was saying, the head, whatever his name is, of Saudi Arabia, has just had a state visit to our country, parading up and down, inspecting our troops, greeted by the Queen, with all the pomp and circumstance.
The chess pieces seem to be moving now, right? You're beginning to see the chess pieces moving. All of a sudden we're hearing about Pakistan. We're hearing about, martial law being declared in Pakistan. We're hearing about the so-called weapons being unearthed in Iran. We're hearing about they're moving the chess pieces again. And you need to pay attention to this because we're coming to the end of the old year, going into the new year. The new year, 2008, will be that change. It will be I'm talking about the Saturn return. And when Saturn returns, which it does, when Saturn returns, empires fall. Empires change, and we see new blood come in. It's also the mark of time. Time changes as well. We start seeing the time change. We just had the time change the other day. We start seeing the time changes. We start seeing people thinking about, what they have done in the past and what they're planning on doing in the future to change the world for the better. Go ahead.
I'm 41 years old, and I've seen a shift, a gradual shift. I can think back in the times when we had Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher, and there we have a lady president of England coming into power, and then shifting into George Bush, the vice president of that, going to 1,000 points of light, and then at that point, the European Union coming into existence. And if you see that flow, that coming on,
it's almost like a ritual, isn't it?
I mean, it's just like a train wreck in slow motion.
Well, yeah. But see, there's a reason why they move these pieces around the way they do, because it's ritualistic. This is all part of some sick, twisted ritual that they want to perform. They do it all the time. Man, woman, male, female.
Can you imagine a woman being president of Great Britain, in Reagan's era? I mean, it was just like, wow.
Yeah.
And so now the tables have turned, and now we got Hillary Clinton coming on.
Mm-hmm. We also have a female president in Argentina. Now, remember I told you all that Argentina parallels a lot what the United States does? It really has. I mean, they've gone through their war on terror. They've gone through their desaparecidos. They've gone through their, removing of those who speak out against the government. They've had their coup d'etat. They've had their rigged elections. They've had their economy and their dollar go down the toilet.
I also want to point out, you know,
And now they have a woman president.
the Bush's 1,000 points of light, the world unity, the united world.
Mm-hmm.
And so it took Europe to go to the European Union, and now we have a global war on terrorism, and so it's just, it's congealing. It's congealing.
Well, and remember, there was 1,000 points of light, and there's the 1,000-year Reich. Kind of sounds the same, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's the idea that this is what they're establishing. They're establishing the idea of this tyrannical government where people are going to roll over, or are they going to say something? I mean, I'm sorry, and I'm going to say this again, people, your vote isn't going to mean shit this election. It really isn't.
When has it?
Yeah, when has it? It's not going to mean anything, and you can argue with me till you blue in the face, but I'm going to tell you right now, and it's not like I'm being the bearer of bad tidings or the despicable one or what have you, but voting doesn't mean shit now.
You've only got one party. Like
Exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
Our new Prime Minister took over from Blair. He was never elected. Blair, by the way, was voted in last time by, I think, 35% of the people. That's the way our system works. So all those other people are totally non-represented.
Tony Blair was the same way as we were, right?
He
He's
had
a Bush puppy.
yeah, he had an arrangement with Gordon Brown, who was his, what do you call it, the treasurer and chancellor. And he was going to hand over power as a prize for not standing against him, and then in our nominations, if you want to call him that. So we've got Gordon Brown now in power. Now he has taken on he's a Labour party, he's taken on 2 Conservative ministers there, and they're becoming kind of advisors. The Liberal Party, our third party, the leader has just resigned, and he too is going to work with Gordon Brown. Now, Gordon Brown is actually saying that he wants, in so many words, a one-party system. And to me, that spells tyranny.
I agree with you. Paul, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I just want to say that George Bush was elected twice on, about 47%, somewhere around there. And each time there was less than 50% turnout. So if you look at the numbers, he was basically elected on 20% of the populist vote. I mean, it's just, it all comes around. You know?
Again, he has the lowest popularity rate of any president in history. And we, as a people, the best thing we can say is impeach him. When he's a lame duck, and it doesn't matter if we impeach him or we don't impeach him, that's why we need to do something else. And, you know, it's one thing to say impeach and wear your T-shirts and act like you're doing something, but you're not doing something. Wearing a T-shirt that says impeach does not do jack shit. These guys are still doing what they do. And it doesn't matter if you're wearing a T-shirt or not. It doesn't matter if you put a sticker up that says fire the liars or not. It doesn't matter. Okay? Go ahead.
I just have one question on the French president. I can't think of his name right off the top of my head, but how does he play into the scheme of things?
That's sarcastic.
Yeah.
Well, the whole of Europe is in the same state that England. This isn't just about England or Britain. I call it England specifically because we're in the most danger right now, more than Scotland and Wales. But we've got the people of Europe are joining with us now, fighting against it, because their heads of state also are signing their rights away. They haven't been asked either. They didn't have 1 or 2 referendums, which they're now being totally denied. 2 countries have to have them by their law, but if they don't get the vote they want, they just do it again. And the people are now beginning to see it biting. And there are many, many organisations all through Europe that are working with our guys. And we're kind of spearheading the fight. And we're doing very well. In a lot of ways, we've got them on the run. We really are digging our heels in. You know, it's actually quite optimistic. You know the story of the lobster. It's what they've been doing to us for years. Since about 1950s, when this idea was first floated for the European Union. You know the story. boiling the lobster
Oh,
slowly.
you boil
So
lobster
it doesn't
slowly on the
notice.
frog, yeah.
That's what they've been doing to us.
And you finally decided to dig your
But
heels
they're
in.
panicking now, and what they're doing is they're turning the heat up too quickly, and people are waking up. And
See, in England right now, and I've talked with several people, in England right now, they are I mean, have you seen how they run their government? They beat each other up in Parliament. They yell at each other. They demand changes. Here, we basically applaud like zombies for these assholes that don't give a shit about you or me. And I can't believe that we still do it. I can't believe that, and everybody is in their safe place, and it's like the turtles. The turtle is in its little shell, pokes its head out every once in a while and says, oh, everything's bad, and pokes its head back in again and says, I've done all I can do. I've said it's bad, I'm going now. Bye. And that's what we see a lot of. Armchair quarterbacks who try to tell you what's going on, but they don't even know what's going on. All they have is what they see in forums. And they don't know that this is a worldwide thing that's going on. It's not just here in the United States, and it's not just going to be a democratic answer. They're getting ready to create that one world order. And it's right here. It's not far. Next year. Next year, between 8 and 9. It's going to change. Go ahead.
Clyde, what you're saying is like the next president is going to be Hillary Clinton?
Could be, yes. I believe that it's like she's a shoo-in anymore. Unless something changes, they're saying that she's the one.
the chosen one.
The chosen one, yeah, exactly.
The appointed one.
And it would only make sense because of the shift of power. Bringing the matriarchal order to the States and sending the patriarchal back to London. Making the shift change because it's just a matter of power play. And it's a matter of, different person for a different government. It gives the idea of change. It gives the idea of progression. You've heard this bullshit about, we are the progressive thinkers. We are the progressive party. No, you're not.
Regressive.
Yeah, you're regressing, pretty much. I mean, if you see the evil for what it is, and what I'm talking about is evil is inert, it sits alone, and then the wickedness is what brings about the evident evil. The wickedness of the murders, the deaths, the abuses, the money that's taken, the property that's taken, the constitutional rights that are taken away, habeas corpus being overturned. You see all these things going on, and you don't know what to do about it except vote. Well, voting didn't cause this to happen. It was approved and appointed with people that you don't even know who did it. They just did it, and you're saying, well, we're going to vote the fuckers out. No, you're not. You're just going to put them all back in again. How many hear about what's going on with Nancy Pelosi right now? How many by applause? Have you heard? They're saying that she's ineffective. Yeah, no kidding. No shit. You didn't think that was going to happen? How many people knew that this was going to happen? That immediately people would be fed up with the bullshit and they'd say, oh, this isn't working the way we wanted it to. Yes, and that's what's going to happen in the next election. Go ahead. Were you going to say something?
Oh, yeah. We were talking about time, 2013.
2012, that's the Mayan thing.
I have a different take on that, just because of the end of the age and the beginning of the new age.
Right.
With the zodiac and all that. 2023 is when the actual new age begins. We're going to the age of Aquarius. It's 2023.
2012.
Anyway, the point of the Earth, the apex, it moves into the new Aquarian house in 2023. So I think it's going to be right around that time.
So 2012?
Yeah, because that's where you have the outpouring of the Holy Spirit, or it's what they say anyway, the water bearer, or the Aquarius age.
Well, I mean, we've had arguments about this before, but what's going on is you need to pay attention to everything in the world, not just what's going on here. What's done is done here. They have done the job of creating that angst, that anger, that idea that you can change by just voting for this person or this party, voting for these issues that are just so important. when there are other issues that we don't even think about that come and bite us in the ass when we're not looking. I'm talking about natural disasters. I'm talking about anomalies from space. I'm talking about all those things that everybody laughs about and says, oh, that stuff just happens all the time. Not the way it's been happening lately. If God is on America's side, then he's asleep. Or we haven't done shit for him, and so he's just basically saying, don't want to work with you anymore. We're tired of the bullshit. We're tired of the lawlessness. We're tired of the injustices. We're tired of you guys dancing around naked in front of owls. I'm sick and damn tired of it. I mean, if there is a God, then God hates us. He hates this country. He has to, because look at all the shit that's going on here.
Can you think of one era that God would be proud of the United States?
I don't know. I didn't live through it, really. I mean, I don't know. I mean,
if you studied any history whatsoever,
my patriotism was very, very strong when I was a boy, and I was a Boy Scout. I knew how to fold a flag. I knew what to do with a flag. I knew what to do. I knew all about my leaders. I knew all about my Constitution. I had to memorize my Constitution.
So you read the propaganda in the right words and the right
no, my preamble of the Constitution. I learned those things. We the people in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, and ensure domestic tranquility. You learn all those things.
Yeah,
but but what I'm saying, I mean, okay, we can talk about killing Indians. We can talk about all that stuff.
God never, looked on the United States and had a shining moment. Ever whatsoever.
You don't think so? What about when we established...
Name an era.
Probably the Revolutionary War.
We're fucking with the Indians and the French and doing all that. A lot of back on
1965.
1965?
Yeah.
Okay, then we turn this into a big, when did God love the United States? No, I mean, what I'm saying is that they're always quick to quote God. They're always quick to quote that God's on our side and that the people need what we have, and they're just ruining everything. This whole utopian thing is crap, isn't it?
It is indeed, yeah. They're selling European Union as the utopian federal state. They want us all to live in a global unity. Now, I don't know about you, but I love my next door neighbour at home. I really do. Fantastic couple. But he happens to be an Iranian. He's very different to mine. And can you imagine if we both lived in the same house together? Now you can take that a bit further now. A very large apartment block, let's say, with, 50 apartments, everybody living for years, quite happily together. A few, perhaps they fall out. They get their differences sorted out. If they don't like it, they move, somebody else comes in, fine. You put all those people together in one large room and get them to live together. What do you get? The only way you're going to get that to work is to get the psychiatrist in, the psychologist, you'll get the brainwashing in, you're going to get the thought police in. Everyone will have to change. You've all got to change, and the only way you can all change and be the same is if you all leave your culture, your religion, your individuality. That's the only way it can work. And what have you got left? You've got sheep and you've got zombies left. That's where they want us. That's how it's going to work.
And it can work by making an umbrella order that everyone can be happy with. And they first have to screw everything up and make it look like you got it so bad that people will be willing to accept anything. Anyone but Bush, right? We've heard this. Anybody but fuck you. If you're going to have that attitude, we might as well let him have the rest of his tenure on this planet as God King and dumb fuck. Because people are stupider or more stupid than he is for saying anyone but Bush. That's irresponsible. Go ahead.
Well, the only constant is change. But beside the point, 1965 is when God looked down upon the United States and said, this is good. It's the same year that John DeLorean created the Pontiac GTO, the first and only muscle car.
Okay, so that's what you base it on.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
DeLorean.
John DeLorean muscle car.
And he got thrown in prison for drugs and embezzlement.
That's
when God didn't love him.
Well, it passed 1965. It was in the 80s.
It's Abscam. Is that what it was?
It's in the 80s.
You see, what I want to let you know is that for the longest time, I've been seeing a lot of people who are taking what could be good and constructive thought, and they turn it into the most hideous form of action. Actions that are more annoying than they are constructive. And I've been noticing a lot with a number of groups that claim to be giving you the truth. The truth anymore is interchangeable with fascists. The truth is anymore interchangeable with fundamentalism and militant fundamentalism. Anymore, you cannot say the truth, because the truth according to whom now? You have to basically be an example, and you have to basically be the type of person that is changing from within themselves. You know, you can jump up and down and scream, 9/11 was an inside job. Yes, you can. And you know what? They did a damn good job of it. 9/11 is an inside job. 84% of the American people now believe that 9/11 is an inside job. But, they got to take it one step further. They want that leap of consciousness, so the whole world is going to rise up to the tune of these guys saying the same thing over and over. They're not going to do it. There is going to be no leap of consciousness unless we understand what it means to be revolutionaries. And I'm not talking about guns. I mean, what are they doing V for Vendetta? I mean, they just put on masks, they put on hats.
Yes, the power of the people. We've got to get the power back to the people. Do you realise there's millions and millions of us? How many is there of them? What are we doing? Nothing. We're doing nothing.
Just talking.
Just talking.
Yeah, pacifying.
Pacified, yeah.
It's good to have a poster. It's good to stand on a street corner and say, I hate this, I want this changed. But what are you doing to change it? I mean, I met with the mayor a couple days ago and talked with him because I wanted to know what the hell was going on.
Fuck the mayor.
Well, fuck the mayor. He talked with me. You know? Whatever you say. I mean, he talked with me and I got to talk with him.
I've talked with him too.
Well, I don't hear you. Where are you? Why don't you come up here and say something? Who talked to the mayor?
I talked to the mayor before he was ever elected about schools and funding and all of that, and I work in the school.
Well, he wasn't the mayor.
No, but he talked about his plans for when he was mayor.
Okay.
And nothing's changed, and that's why I said fuck the mayor.
Okay.
So why are we all waiting for someone to come along like a knight in shining armour and save us from all
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
We're the ones we've been waiting for.
Why does the mayor have to change things? Do you have an idea of why? I mean, you said fuck the mayor. Why does the mayor have to change anything?
He's not going to change anything.
Well, that's just it. He's not going to. So what are we going to do? We're going to sit around and wait for some asshole who's not going to change anything, change it? I mean, that's just it. We have been throwing the blame for a long time on leaders who don't give a shit about us. You see? You understand what I'm saying? Fuck the mayor. Okay, so the mayor is supposed to change things for you? Is that what you're saying to me?
No, that's not what I'm saying.
No, what are you saying then? Are you saying that the mayor is supposed to get up and he's supposed to change education for you and for everybody else?
More money than I do.
What's that? I can't hear you. I mean, we can't hear up here.
He has more control over the funding of schools than I do personally.
Why didn't you say, hey, change this, it sucks, it's not working. If you're gonna be mayor, I want this.
She would leave saying, don't please me, dude.
It's the back.
Go ahead. What are you saying? We'll let her say. What's she going to say? You've been on the mic a lot. Then you can say something.
It's the buck. We can all preach all day and all night, but, you can vote Potter in and want what he says to be true, but unless you vote it in, it's the buck. People are going to vote for the buck. That's what they've been doing. That's what they continue to do. In this country and in lots of westernized countries, it's the buck that holds the vote.
Your money?
Holds the power.
Exactly. Your money is the unit of energy that moves them.
We can all sit here and want different. I want different. And yet we're kind of incubated in an environment that creates an appeasement or a pacification towards the buck.
Mm-hmm.
I want to save a buck. I want a lifestyle. I want a Hollywood,
Exactly.
That's how we get by in a lot of ways. And until we think of we instead of I,
That's how it is. You know, you can point fingers and you can say, you know, he's an asshole, he didn't follow through. You know, this person, that person, blah, blah, blah. You know, Bush cheated, that's why he's in power, and I think that, I feel that way in a lot of ways.
And demanding follow-through was something we fell
right,
on.
But bottom line, why is Bush still there? Because we're pacified and because we obey the buck. And, you know, who does Bush worship and what is this all leading towards as an arrowhead? The buck. The American fucking buck.
That's exactly right. She's right. Buck is a unit of energy. Give her a hand. God, wake up. Jesus.
If you really mean it, we all have to make a huge back step in lifestyle and develop as a unity instead of a competitive society of I have this, you don't. I have utopia, you don't. I have peace of mind, you don't. I'm smarter than you, I'm a better this, better that. No. You can't keep that up if we never survive. Like, it has to be we and not I.
That's exactly right. It's very right. I'm all for that. And the reason why is because it is. It's about the money. It's about, you know, you will put all kinds of money into buying videos that basically tell you what you already know. You know, go out and buy yourself Loose Change tomorrow night. Just go out and buy it because it'll tell you everything you want to hear, tell you everything you already know, and you'll play it for 84% of the American people that already know what it's all about, and you'll have your little gatherings, you'll keep wallowing away in your pity, your poorness, and everything that makes you sad about what happened back on September 11, 2001. And you know what? You're not going to go any farther than where you got there just watching those videos over and over again. And when some other outrageous theory comes down the pike, you're going to pay more money to see that. Why can't we just take that money that we're going to be doing and use it and keep it away from those that want to take it from you? And I'm talking about politicians. I'm talking about, you know, whenever you participate in something, if you participate in a candidate, you find out where they're getting their money. You find out how they're getting their popularity. I know for a fact that the Clintons were getting their fundings from the Chinese triad. And what does the Chinese triad market? They market drugs, exactly, and they market sex for sex children. They have the sex trade. The opium and the sex trade in Southeast Asia. That's how they're funded.
And coal.
And coal. But what I'm trying to say is that these guys deal in criminal activities. And even, you get, where do the Bushes get their money from? Drugs and oil. And where do we see it continue? Drugs and oil. And what do they benefit from? Chaos and disorganization. They go in and try to right it. Paul.
I was just going to say, I kind of disagree with the dollar idea. I think how does a criminal mind work? He works through physical intimidation. It's not an idea of I want to buy my PlayStation. It's what first million are going to step up and take that first 1,000 rounds out of the Gatling gun from the whatever authority. I think that's what it really comes down to. It comes down to a physical intimidation. You look at 9/11. You look at you look at what's happening in Pakistan. You had, thousands of lawyers line up. What did? They tear gassed them, bashed their skulls in, and arrested them. It's about who wants to take that first bullet. I think that's really what it comes down to. Is nobody wants to give up their life. If I can live here and I got my PlayStation or whatever, until I'm actually my actual blood, my actual inner family nucleus is physically threatened, is the only point that the rat attacks back.
You won't move until you're in pain, right?
And so people will not fight until they're already faced with death and death. So once they're faced with death and death, it's the only time they'll fight back.
You're quite right, because in my country now, because the diktats and laws are coming into their very heart and home, that's now they're getting angry. Now they're getting angry. They've been taking this crap for years. But now it's actually pinching at everything they do. You walk outside the door at home and you're looking for the cameras. am I going to get fined for something? I can give you a list of things you can get fined for now, just going to the store. And now they're getting angry that it's taken this much to do it. We're just a smidgen away from losing the whole thing.
They're putting cameras up everywhere now in Portland. And just yesterday, a guy was beaten on the MAX train, and now they're doing a report, are you safe on the MAX train? This is a nice way of saying we'd be safer if we had cameras at every stop. We'd be safer if we had cameras at every intersection. We'd be safer if we have a camera on you no matter what. It doesn't prevent crime, people. Crimes still happen. It's just that if they happen to get it on tape, they could use it as a means by which to prosecute. And even then, some of that can't be put into evidence in the courtroom. Go ahead.
Well, you've been down on voting a lot tonight.
Yes, I have been.
Well, the first time I ever got to vote, I voted in Minnesota for Jesse Ventura. And every time I'm allowed to vote, I vote no matter what, because that showed me that it could change one thing. I mean, it wasn't a national election, it was a state election, but if you get a whole bunch of rednecks mad, and there's a good choice, they're going to vote for Jesse Ventura. They're going to vote for something different, they're going to vote for something new, they're going to vote for something that is not the same thing over and over. With the recession that the United States went through, Minnesota didn't get hit as bad as the surrounding states because he had a good head on his shoulders and he wasn't doing the same thing.
You don't think they were voting for the novelty when they voted for Ventura?
It wasn't the novelty, no. No, he didn't have a lot of the money behind him that the other candidates had.
How could that not be novelty to have a guy who's a wrestler be your governor?
It started like that.
I mean, yeah, Bud Clark. What about Arnold Schwarzenegger as the governor of California?
Yeah, and he doesn't want to send troops overseas. He wants to keep the National Guard in California.
Well, you see what happened to his state.
Yeah, because all the guard were down.
Yeah, I mean...
That's more environmental than political, though.
I mean, I'm saying that, voting may work in some cases, but we're at a point now where we need to have something called constitutional reform. We're at a point now where we need to basically go in and clean house and get rid of all the ineffective people. And we need to organize that now.
You get that by voting. You don't just stand here.
No, you get it by referendum.
Oh yeah, whatever. You gotta vote.
Not for that, you don't. You have to be mad enough. You have to be mad enough to get a referendum and push it.
That's why I vote every time.
And what is it getting you?
What is it getting you not voting?
Same thing.
Well, then don't vote. I vote. I decide your future.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
No, you don't. I can tell you right now what the future's going to be without your vote.
Well, what's this one guy said? 20% of the...
I can tell you what your future's going to be even if I don't vote and you do. I can tell you exactly what's going to happen.
But I'm still going to vote.
Because we vote for the same thing every year, we get the same fucking results.
But I'm still going to vote.
Fine.
And everybody here should vote. Everybody who hears us when we play on the computer should vote.
Okay.
If
you think it's going to work.
I do think it works.
Okay. I say referendum. I say we ought to have political constructive insurgents.
You tell people weekly, don't vote.
Yeah, I say don't vote because what we need to do is we need to do something else like constructive insurgents.
Steal 8 million votes.
What's that?
They're going to steal 8 million votes.
They're going to steal them anyway. They've already appointed it. It's already been drawn and quartered.
It's not.
Okay.
You think that.
Okay. It's already planned out what's going to happen. Already. And it doesn't matter who the boss is, the new boss is going to be the same way. Go ahead. I hate to throw that at you, but it's true. Go ahead.
I was thinking that, I said it once before, that democracy to me is really still an experiment as far as it working in this country. It's been in place for over 200 years, but I still think it's an idea, it's a concept, but it needs tweaking, and the society we live in now shouldn't really live by the same rules that were written 200 years ago. And this is also a country, to add this one little point in, where we were really frightened of the communists 50 years ago, and all these other different government ideals that it's un-American. And then, to me, I think
what they need to do is they need to tell us the truth about democracy.
Right.
They don't tell us the truth. People in America think how many heard this statement? If you work hard in America, you get the things you deserve.
Yeah, well,
that's a meritocracy. It's not a democracy.
That's a car commercial. It
is a car commercial.
John Cougar.
Yeah. It's the idea that if you work hard enough, you get the good-looking woman and you get the money and the nice car. Bullshit. You know, it doesn't work that way. And once again, it's back to what she said. There's so many of us and so little of them, and yet we let so little of them run what we do. And why? Because they have bottomless pockets for commercials and propaganda and news organizations that will report propaganda that will push them into the positions that they're in. You have no choice but to vote your conscience because your conscience has been hijacked. That's how it goes. Go ahead.
I feel like taking issue with what you said about Ventura and Schwarzenegger and all those people. You know, that really is ad hominem.
What do you mean? I said it was novelty. That's not ad hominem.
No, listen to me. You see, does it really matter what a man's background is when he's running for office? Do you think that they're more respectable if they were lawyers or businessmen?
I didn't say anything about the respect. I said it was a novelty.
Yes, but what you said...
And plus, Schwarzenegger was appointed. And
what you said in particular was, come on, people, a wrestler, and that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, a wrestler. He was a novelty. A novelty like Bud Clark was a novelty here. A novelty item. That's like we had clowns running for mayor every year, and every time we have an election in Portland. What is it? Extremo the Clown runs for a mayor.
Does that make them any more or less competent?
Never said anything to that sort, so you're putting words in my mouth.
No, I'm asking you, not putting words in.
No, it does not make them any less competent or any more competent.
Just
no.
asking.
I'm just saying, they're a novelty item. And putting a woman in office is a novelty item.
And a bad idea.
Did you mean that because she's a woman or because it's Hillary Clinton?
He just wants his ass kicked.
Ah! Okay, go ahead.
She's not even a human.
Okay.
I don't think that we're letting these people do this to us. We have to, at some point, get the idea that we are doing it. We're giving them our labor. We're giving them our money. And we have forums like this where people generally agree with each other, are talking to each other, accomplishing nothing.
Sometimes we encourage them not to agree with each other.
And I hear you not endorsing voting, and I hear you not endorsing assassination.
No.
So what's your idea?
I've said it again, I'll say it again. Here we go again. We need to reform. We need to get a coalition together with lawyers, and we need to find out what is constitutionally available to us within the law to go in and basically clean out the vermin. And we do it by citizen's arrest, we do it lawfully, and we do it with constitutional solutions in mind.
Whose law? What lawful?
Constitutional law.
All the people.
The Constitution that was put together by the people.
The Constitution that made it appear as if we're not slaves anymore? Because we're under the impression that our vote is meaningful while we're literally doing the same thing, except I've got a six-pack of beer and I've got Netflix.
What we do is we use constitutional law to go in and, as has been put many times, create a revolution where no guns can be fired, where we can do this with lawyers. We do it with the same thing they use. When you play in Vegas, you play the same way the dealer plays. Okay? That way you win at 21. I'm not joking. You win at 21 if you play the way the dealer plays. So, we're playing one big fucking game of 21. So what do? If they're up there and they show a base card, and you're showing a base card, you play like they play. And if you get...
The metaphor falls apart because...
No, it doesn't.
Our choice here is between rapists. So which rapist do I choose?
That's right.
Because either way, you're getting fucked to death.
That's right. So
and
don't choose the rapist.
You're funding your own rape. You're putting your labor and your love into your own...
There is where we agree. So if they're criminals, then we as a people have a right to get rid of the criminals. Am I right?
And if
the
rapists,
the drug dealers, and the people who are abusing power.
So I had an issue constitutionally with the police where I didn't feel like they had the constitutional right to search me, and I vocalized that, and then they beat the fuck out of me. So the Constitution is great to talk about, but we're talking about rape and violence.
They beat the fuck out of you because you didn't have any money. They beat the fuck out of you because you didn't have a lawyer there present. They beat the fuck.
It was my blood on the street,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't get anything out of it. I'm utterly aware of the Constitution, and I'm nice to hear you recite it.
What I'm saying is that you're right, they're wrong, and you have recourse. So take advantage of your recourse. Find out what they did wrong and go for it. Now, if you lay back and let that blood fall on the ground without you fighting, then there's nothing I can say to you. If it were me, I'd be in their faces every day saying, you violated my constitutional rights, you harmed me, and I'm suing. And I'm going to keep going after you until my dying day.
And what if you're not that kind of person and you're been beaten, you don't have any money, your teeth are on the street, you can't get to work? That's not a
You network and you negotiate. You jive just like they do. You shuck and jive just like they do.
If you're being killed, you're going to keep going back to the Constitution?
If you're killed, then you're killed. Well, you weren't killed. You're alive, you're breathing, you're here tonight. Go after the sons of bitches.
We're a fraction of the people that...
Get a group of people that are angry with you and go after them.
And they're right here.
Sure, if you can make a case right now, and you get a group of people behind you, and you make a rally, and you go, yes.
I've been here 5 times. It's the same 20 people sitting in the same place.
That's not true.
We're talking about the same...
That's not true. You're here. I've never seen you before.
I've been here once or twice. Maybe.
Once or twice, okay? So it's not the same people every time, now, is it?
I was over exaggerating my point.
Yeah, you were.
But what I'm saying is, what can we do to get past the circle of people we agree with to influence the people that don't agree with us? Great. The internet is 90% form. You know?
Take your case to where you can be seen. I told the audience this. You go to the TV, you go to the media, you go to the open files. I told people to go to the open files, and what happens 2 weeks later? They're going after Rush Limbaugh, they're going after Savage, they're going after all these people saying, where the hell's the fairness doctrine? I'll tell you where it went. It went to conservatives who had more money than you do. Look, if you believe in something, and you believe in it wholeheartedly, you will fight tooth and nail to get it accomplished. And you will not let go of it. You know, there are people out there, the NRA, who believe that everyone should have a gun. And they have people that are atheists, people there that are Jews, that are Muslim. You got all kinds of people that agree on one thing, that guns should be in the hands of the people. Now, how is it that we can separate our differences for one cause, and that's guns? Because they believe in that and they obsess over it to the point where it's sickening. So what you need to do is you need to obsess over your pain to the point where you get other people to be just as angry as you and to go after what you stand for, and that would be your constitutional right. Now, you can stand here and tell me I'm wrong, but I can tell you, groups of people, and beyond these people here, would want to hear what you have to say. Find somebody, call somebody and say, you know, invite them out for coffee, a reporter, and say, let me tell you what happened to me. I got a magazine published once by just taking a pitcher of beer, sitting in front of me with an empty glass, and I sat there for 6 hours. Finally, some guy said, what the hell are you doing? I said, I want to publish a magazine. He goes, who do you need? I said, I need a printer. He goes, I'm a printer. I go, you have a beer. And we ended up publishing a magazine that lasted 3 years, and it got us into some money, and we were pretty happy with it.
This is working in England. We have people doing this over there. They have got that angry. They're bringing newspapers out. They're taking legal action against the police, anybody, you name it. We're just going for them now. We just got that cross. And guess what? We're winning.
I wonder about being right in a culture where they view being right as mental illness. How do you fight that?
You just find other people that are crazy.
Well, that's why I came here.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you for give him a hand. Go ahead. Find your resources. You tap your resources to go after these people. You get them where it hurts them. It hurts them in the wallet, and it hurts them with their pride, and it hurts them with their character. You know, you find some dirt on them, and then you say, oh, by the way, just happened to find some dirt on you that I'm sure everybody would be interested in hearing about. And either you do, I mean, one time, this is no kidding, we had in Utah, there was a guy, and I'm not going to mention who it is because it was a very important case. We had some dirt on him that we were going to spill to the media. And we told him, I told him, you either pass the incest exception laws, you either overturn incest exception laws in Utah, or we're going to come forward with it. And we actually, this is how we made him realize that we were going to do it. We brought him into the studio. This guy was trying to lose weight because he wanted to look good for the camera. We actually sat him down. We had a hot woman, a stripper, bring him Twinkies and all kinds of things while he's sitting there, and he couldn't refuse them. Because he said, hey, have a Twinkie, have this. And we did that to him on the air. And he was the only guy in the whole group that voted to overturn the incest exception laws. Now, it wasn't threatening. We didn't do anything to threaten him. We just let him realize that, he's vulnerable. You need to let these people in power know that they're vulnerable. Because they are vulnerable. They have vulnerable places. They're human just like you and me. And you don't have to threaten them. All you have to do is say, hey, I know something that, I could do that a lot of people would be interested in hearing about. And I'd be willing to talk about it, but we need to negotiate something here. There's nothing wrong with talking about negotiation. That's what they do. That's where you get your drudge report. That's where you get your other things. I mean, you have to be as conniving and as clever as they are. Because they know how to do this, and they think you're too stupid to figure it out. And you know what? No one is going to come down on you for being honest. Honesty, even though it pisses people off a lot of people admire you for your honesty.
Well, thanks. Appreciate the good work on it. So.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Go ahead. Yeah.
I was just thinking again about democracy too, and why our president is in office. And going back to some of the statistics you brought up about his popularity, and also the amount of people who came out to vote in the last election, and the less than majority who voted for him. Now, if it was a business, not a democracy, there would be incentives for your president. For instance, okay, if you aren't a mandate, if you aren't a majority, then you don't get all of your power. You don't say you don't get veto power. You can't write Proposition 51. You can't sign a declaration of war. These are I'm just mentioning various incentives the president would have. What would he have? Well, he could kiss babies. He could go to hurricanes. He could throw the first ball out the World Series. The bottom line is, if you are a good enough president, you get more power through popularity or through an incentive program. This is what you do in business. And democracy doesn't use business principles. In business principles, you see that in sports, in entertainment.
Business principles.
Well, the point is that that's constructive thinking and to help make democracy work 200 years after the Constitution was written.
Right.
If he's a crappy, shitty president, then okay, then all you can do is stand there and wave at sporting events, say, I'm the president. But
do you know what's more than impeachment of Bush? Censure of Bush.
There you go.
Do you know why?
Listen to his speech.
You don't get to hear him talk anymore. He can shut the fuck up. What better way to live a better life than not to hear this moron utter another sentence in public again? I'm all for it. Censoring the president would be something I'd like to hear happen. Donald Trump firing, yeah, exactly.
Well, he's been the biggest bull market supporter there is since 9/11. Bin Laden and Bush are responsible for the biggest bull market run in the history of the United States market.
Sure.
When there's blood in the streets, the market's good, right?
See, what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to get people to understand that there's something other than the same old bullshit you're hearing all the time about what to do. Censuring the president instead of impeaching him, arresting him instead of impeaching him, taking away that which keeps him powerful rather than, and it's easy to do. We don't have to shoot a gun. We don't have to kill anybody. We just have to find those points where they know that they're going to have to move. Zombies are very good motivators in graveyards. And when the zombies rise up, people run. If you want to be a zombie and walk around in a daze, or you want to be one of those zombies that rise up and start attacking, but attacking in a good way, things will change. Believe me, they'll change. Go ahead. You want to say some other things too, don't you? Some things you want to quote.
Can I say one more thing just from then I'm done? I just want to say the first three words of the Constitution are "we the people," right? That's the first three words, the "we the people," that translates into "we the voters."
Okay.
It's a quote that I found on the bottom of someone's email. It's now on my email. I think it just sums up what we have to do. Because we're always getting people coming up to us and saying, yes, but what can we do? And the quote is from Edward Everett Hale. I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And because I cannot do everything, I will not refuse to do the something that I can do. What I can do, I should do. And what I should do, by the grace of God, I will do. And the people around me back in England there are absolutely, totally dedicated. We're working 100% of our time, spending our savings on fighting what we perceive to be the tyranny that's coming to us. And we're doing this by small ways, by talking to people. We go out to flea markets, hand out flyers, tell people what's going on, just trying to wake them up. It seems a small thing, but if you tell just one person, the right person, that can spread to 10 people. And then you've got a group of 10 fighting this. Join an organisation, we tell them, because that makes your small voice into a big one. And we're going person to person. They're going to individual members of Parliament, the ones that are sitting on the fence, the ones that are good men that don't know what's going on, and we're telling them what's going on. We're putting this stuff on the internet, it's going thousands and thousands of hits, people finding out, and as they're finding out, things are beginning to shift. It's working. That's what we have to do. We have to do it with words, don't we?
Yes, we do, and I'd like to thank Bill for videotaping the shows. Give him a hand for doing that. I mean, I know you probably think that right here in Portland you're not doing anything by coming out, but you are, because what you're doing is you're supporting that free speech that we want to believe we have, and we do have here for this moment. And I just want to say that the support has been overwhelming. I mean, it's not the same 20 people. We had a big crowd here last week. Crowds come, crowds go. People think the weather's too cold. There's going to be that going on all the time. I'm used to that. But I'll tell you one thing. The more people we can get into this bar on Monday night, the more we can show our solidarity for what we need to do, and by God, what we're going to do. And that is, we're going to take from this show, or from this presentation, knowledge, and I say ammo, against people that continue to believe that the same stuff that's been going on in the system works every time. It gives you an opportunity to think out of the box. Gives you an opportunity, yes, to complain, to bitch, to get off your system, but we want to talk more about what it is we can do. And it's a way to think outside of the box and think of how we can change things. I think that putting things on the internet, getting word out on the internet helps. Going to television stations and standing there and demanding that you be heard. I mean, I heard fuck the mayor tonight, but I don't see her standing at a TV station saying this is what the mayor did wrong. I don't see an op-ed piece being written by people saying what went wrong. I mean, you guys all have the power to write. You have the power to stand and yell and scream. You have the power to do all those things. You do them. I don't stop when I get off the stage. I do 3 shows online every week, and I hold down my job. And I do this show. This is how I get my word out. I mean, I don't have time for myself, really. I do this all. And you know what? I don't make any money off my shows online. I mean, I could, but I don't. And usually, if I ask for money for certain things, it's because I think that they need to make a little bit of money so that I can offset my costs for the server and things of that nature. But see, you do this because you feel you need to do it. You do it because you got to get it off your chest. You do it because you want to get attention and make it good attention. You wear masks and look like V because of this, too. Give her a hand for this. Come all the way from London to be on the show. Go ahead, what do you say?
It's a little passage in V, I won't quote it, but what it says is that you have to get rid of your fear. They've been keeping us submissive through fear. And we've got to get over that. Because if we don't get over that fear they've instilled in us, we're lost. We've got to get angry. Now, I just came across a film called Network. Never seen it before. And the message is very, very clear. What we should all do is go out of here, go out that door and shout, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. We've got to do that. That's the way we're going to win. If you don't, we're lost.
Thank you, Ms. V, for coming on the program. Let's give Ms. V a hand. Came all the way from England. Thank you so much. And we'd like to thank you for coming out of the Ground Zero Lounge tonight. Some of you, we've been having a lot of guests on the show, and we're still going to try and bring more on. But in the meantime, spread the word about what goes on here. This is freedom of speech at its best. It's a forum, and we don't all agree on some things sometimes. We disagree on some things. But, you know, this is where we hear about what the Zeitgeist is, what the pulse of the people is, what it can be, what it will be, and what it eventually can become. And that is a group of people that work together to bring about change. It comes from in here before we'll ever show up out there. Thank you all for coming out to the Ground Zero Lounge. Karaoke from Hell is next. Take care.